Hello YouTube land, this is Bowling Full here. Do you guys have this Storm Clear spare ball? Anybody out there have this ball? It came out I think a couple years ago. I got this last year as a gift from the wife for my birthday. I saw this rolled in Reno at the tournament last year. Thought it was really cool looking. So she ended up getting it for me for my birthday, which was pretty cool. The only problem with this ball, if you guys do have this ball, is it starts cracking around the thumb holes, right? You start getting this cracking. And I got some chips kind of taken out near the finger holes. And so now that I have all the plug material and all the stuff to fix bowling balls now, I'm going to go ahead and try to salvage this ball and see what I can do. When I measured the span too, the span was actually 4.5 inches. So the PSO messed up on my span. And it's that my span is actually 4.25. This ball has a diff of 0.018. It has a little bit of hook if you want it to, and it can also go straight. So it's a really good clear spare ball. And you see a lot of the PBA pros rolling this too. It looks really cool going down lane. The original one was like an amber looking one, and it was the Belmo. It was a Belmo spare ball, and I think Storm just made a clear one to kind of sell for everybody without the Belmo name. But this was like 100. I think you can find them for 130 bucks. I haven't looked to see if they still have them available or not in 15 pound. But if you can find them, it's a really cool ball. The only problem is it's a lot of maintenance, right? So you get this track, kind of this cloudiness on your track. And if you can see that right there, there are kind of like minor scratches. They're not chips. You can't feel it. It's just in the track and it gets really cloudy and looks like crap. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to do a before and after, right? So I'm going to plug this. The easy part about plugging this ball is I don't have to add any colors. So it's clear. All I'm going to do is just add the resin and hardener, the compound and hardener, and then just fill in the holes. I'm going to put a Jopo in there. So I'm going to take this out, take the slug out and put a Jopo in there, and hopefully it'll fit a little bit better. I'm going to correct my span as well too. I've heard on clear spare balls, you don't really want to put a Jopo in there because it can crack a little bit more. But we're going to give it a shot. We're going to give this one last ditch effort to kind of save this ball and see if we can make it last another couple hundred games. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get these inserts out with the insert removal tool by KR Strike Force. And all you do is just put this in here and turn it. And it came off really quick. There was one thing my PSO did well is he just put a couple dabs of glue on there so it's easy to come out. If you are doing your own plug or your own inserts and you just coat the inside with glue, good luck getting it out because it's a pain in the butt. And that's it. I mean, boom, just like that. Not even, 15 seconds? So we're going to go ahead and drill these out a little bit bigger to get the edges nice and sharp. And then we will fill this in with compound and hardener. And then also I'm going to drill this out 1.5 inch and get our Jopo and put it so we can fit a Jopo in there. Once you get the inserts out of there, the next thing you want to do is get your pitch gauges. We'll do the thumb. Actually, not a Jopo, it's just a regular slug. That was another thing that I really didn't like about the spare ball that had the slug because I have Jopos on all my other balls. And if my thumb was too swollen, it would stick in there. I'd have to put chapstick on my thumb. All right, so 1/4 and... Yeah, damn, he put a 1/4 on both of those. Okay. When it's actually 1/8. All right, so I got the ball and the jig. I've got this all lined up. So when I go down, it's a 1 7/64 bit. It's going to hit on all sides. All right, so for the middle finger, we do have some scratches on the outside of that, so I switched out to a 1 1/8 bit. And then before I start on this slug, I'm gonna go ahead and take the tape out of there. Okay, nice and easy to get out of there. And we're gonna do a 1.5 inch on this just to get this whole slug out of there, and we'll see how that works. All right, so I got the 1.5 inch bit in there, and my job is to get rid of the slug and also drill out all this cracking around the thumb hole. All right, so here's what we got. I kind of put it, like I said, I only have 1.5 inches is my biggest drill bit that I have. And so I kind of drilled out a little bit wider just to kind of eliminate those cracks that were there. And one thing that I've got, I'm going to try out is Bubble Buster. I got this for 14 bucks. Motiv makes it, and it's supposed to eliminate bubbles. I completely forgot to use it on my Storm Mix. And we're going to see how well this thing works. It's very potent, very dangerous. It says combustible liquid may be fatal if swallowed and enters airways, causes skin irritation, causes eye irritation, harmful if inhaled. So if you guys do get this, open up all your doors and vents and have a fan going, and maybe you have a mask on so you're not breathing this crap in. I sprayed it outside on some weeds and it instantly killed my weeds. And I'm kind of curious of what it is. It might be, I don't think it's like a thinner, or I don't think it's an acetone, because I think if it was, it would probably eat through this plastic. So if anybody out there knows exactly what this is made of, put it in the comments. But it is potent, whatever it is. And you're supposed to spray in here in the holes when you put your plug material in, and then once on top, and it's supposed to get rid of all the bubbles. So we'll see if this works. It'll be money well spent. It's only 14 bucks. All right, so we have the mixture. We mix that for a few minutes, and we're gonna go ahead and pour this in here. We just got one of the circle dams. We're probably going to have to use the biggest one. Hopefully this fits. And I'm going to spray a little bit of this in here. Okay, one spray. Woo! All right, so we're back. It's about 6 hours later, and we have a nice hardened plug for the thumb hole. And as you can see, it's pretty darn clear. I'm pretty impressed. A little bit of bubbles down at the bottom, not a whole bunch though, through the top. It's pretty clear and see-through. So I think the Bubble Buster worked pretty well. I don't see any bubbles in there. So I got this delivered today via Amazon. One of my viewers commented on the last video that I had when I was repairing the chip out of the Storm Mix, and he told me, he's like, get a silicone ice cube tray, because if you make too much resin, it's kind of a waste if you don't have anything else to put it in. So he says, get a silicone tray, put it in there, fill it up with the new resin, and that way you're not wasting a whole bunch of resin, because I wasted about 1 ounce today with this stuff when I was filling the thumb. So the hardener, the plug material is very expensive, so any chance I can get to save any little bit I can. 1 ounce is 1 ounce, and so I want to thank you for giving me a tip on getting one of these. So hopefully that'll work. I'll use that on this if I make too much. All right, so we're using the biggest one here. All right, so I've got the compound and hardener. I just poured it together. I'm going to start mixing that for about a couple minutes. So I'm going to use some more Bubble Buster, and I've got a mask on so I don't breathe the fumes. we'll see how that does. Not to exceed 2 sprays, it says. All right, now we're going to pour it in here. One last spray on top. All right, so we're back. It's 16 hours later. And we have nice hardened plugs here. Came out pretty good, if I do say so myself. And I would say the bubble buster seemed to do the trick. So we'll see the true test once I cut everything down, if I can see any kind of bubbles. Like I said, there are bubbles way down there at the bottom, if you can see that. Kind of bring it up close. It's not a big factor because it's at the bottom. All right, so we're going to cut the thumb plug down, and I've got it at 330. All right, so we cut the plugs down, and I don't know if it's just the clear, since there's no color added or no dyes added, but the plug material seemed very, very hard. A lot harder than if you had colors in it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put this on the spinner, and I have all the different sanding pads, right? So we're starting off with 500, we're going all the way up to 5,000. So it's one thing I learned to get this smooth and get all the scratches out is start with a low grit. Thanks to one of my subscribers that gave me, a couple of subscribers on my channel to give me that tip. So thank you guys for helping me out. Well, it looks like I do see some bubbles, not a lot. And it looks like I could just do a little bit more sanding and it'll get rid of those. It kind of came out a little bit amber. It's not exactly super clear, but I'm not too picky. Like I said, all we're doing is just putting new holes in this bad boy. All right, now time for the thumb hole. So you can see there's a little bit of bubbles on here. I'm going to try to get rid of that as best I can. Now we're going to throw some polish on here now. All right, so here's the finished product after sanding and polishing. And I say it looks pretty damn good. This cleared up, the thumb hole cleared up really well. The only problem is this. So I sanded the heck out of this for about 5 minutes or so with all sorts of grits, and it did not come out. So I'm thinking that it's a little bit deeper than the surface. And I don't know what the heck these are. They're just like minor, I think it's just like minor little cracks in the inside the plastic. If anybody knows what that is, put it down in the comments. But I tried getting that out. It's just not coming out, and I don't want to take too much surface off the ball. I mean, I spent a good 5-7 minutes on that, and it still didn't do anything. So not a factor. It's just aesthetics. It's not going to affect the ball roll anyway. But yeah, it cleared up pretty well. You can see the bubbles down in there in the bottom, not a big deal. And this cleared up pretty well too, although it's not super clear. It's more of an amber, but not a huge deal. So we're going to lay this out and do my actual span, because the other span was 4.5 and my span's 4 1/4. So I'll do a 4 1/4 span, and maybe I'll drill kind of into these so it won't look super terrible when I'm going to put a Jopo in there. But all in all, pretty satisfied. Kind of gave this ball a new life. A couple nicks and scratches here and there, not a big deal because they won't be on my track. But looking pretty good, pretty happy. All right, folks, and we have the finished product here. I'll say looking pretty good. Definitely rejuvenated this ball. Got all the gouges out. This is just from the previous plug job, so I got this all sanded out. Put a white Jopo in there, and then I just flipped out my grips. And we'll fit this in. Boom. Good to go. Got pretty much a brand new spare ball again. And I was thinking I was going to chuck this thing, so glad I decided to fix it. So if you guys like what you see, give me a like, comment down below. If you have this Storm Clear spare ball and it's all damaged and you're thinking about chucking it, well, think again, because you can salvage this ball just like you can salvage a lot of the balls. So I don't know how long this is going to last before it starts cracking around here, but I'm guessing I can get another at least 100 games in it. So we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you guys like this video. If you like more of this, give a subscribe, and until next video, thanks for watching, everybody.